Hello, and welcome to the Once Again podcast. We are your hosts, Ashley and Jason. Does it crack you up that
I just read that.
Oh, you're reading my notes?
I read the thing.
Alright, hold on. It's gonna get
Sorry.
there. No, it's fine. In this episode, we'll be looking at the 2022 television special, The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. In this series, we won't be doing a deep analysis of the film, or giving a bunch of behind-the-scenes facts, but rather giving our impressions of the overall film and giving a score to the film. Also, as this is a new special at the time of this recording, we feel the need to give you, the audience, a spoiler warning. We'll be recapping the events of this special and discussing details that some may consider spoilers. So if you don't want to know anything about the special, watch it for yourself first, then come back and listen to our episode later. So, kidnap Kevin Bacon, use your mental powers to put him in the holiday spirit, and enjoy this episode. You like that one?
I started reading. I read the use your mental powers first and then backed up to Kevin Bacon. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Minor spoiler there. But The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is an American television special written and directed by James Gunn for the streaming service Disney+, based on Marvel Comics featuring the superhero team, the Guardians of the Galaxy. It is the second Marvel Studios special presentation in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or MCU for short, sharing continuity with the films and television series of the franchise. The special is produced by Marvel Studios and follows the Guardians of the Galaxy as they celebrate Christmas and search for a present for their leader, Peter Quill. Gunn worked on the concept for the special during the production of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 in 2017, before it was announced in December of 2020. Filming occurred from February to late April of 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia, and Los Angeles during the production of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which will come out next year. Mm-hmm. The Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special was released on Disney Plus on November 25th, 2022, serving as the conclusion of the Phase 4 of the MCU. The special received positive reviews from critics for its humor, Gunn's direction, and the cast's performances.
Written and directed by James Gunn. Produced by Kevin Feige, Louis D'Esposito, Victoria Alonso, Brad Winderbaum, James Gunn, Sarah Smith, and Simon Hatt. Edited by Greg DeOria and Greg Featherman. Music by John Murphy. Production company is Marvel Studios. Distributed by Disney Platform Distribution. I've actually never had to read that before. Running time 44 minutes. It stars Chris Pratt as Peter Quill, Star-Lord, Dave Bautista as Drax the Destroyer, Karen Gillan as Nebula, Pom Klementieff as Mantis, Vin Diesel as Groot, Bradley Cooper as Rocket, Sean Gunn as Kraglin, the Old 97s as the alien band on Nowhere, Michael Rooker as Yondu, Maria Bakalova provides the voice and motion capture for Cosmo the Space Dog, and Kevin Bacon has a fictionalized version of himself.
Excellent. So diving right into the plot, I have to say I loved the Christmas theme MCU title card.
I literally have that note written too.
Yeah.
I was like, we're doing a Christmas card. I love that. And I remember when we were watching Werewolf by Night, they also had like a spooky card going. So I'm liking that they're like, if they're doing these special things, they're like going all in on them at the very least.
Even the opening panels from the comics were Christmas themed comics issues and everything.
Yeah, it was nice. I like that.
But on Nowhere, Kraglin tells the Guardians of the Galaxy the story of how he and Peter Quill tried to celebrate Earth's Christmas when Quill was still the child. However, Yondu got mad and told them to cut it out. So I have a note here saying that I liked the animated segment at the beginning of the special. It did give a holiday special feel, and in doing research I found out that the opening and closing animated scenes were created through rotoscoping, an animation technique which involves shooting live-action footage and having animators trace over it afterwards. And James Gunn was inspired to use this technique by the films of Ralph Bakshi, which he loved when he was growing up. In fact, this whole idea was inspired by the Star Wars holiday special.
Oh, yeah.
James Gunn unironically loves that and thinks that it's great. But he came up with this because he was inspired by that.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah.
What I'll say about that is that I really like the animation, but it threw me off for a second because I was like, I thought this was supposed to be live action. Why are they animated? Like, it threw me off immediately because I was not expecting it to be there.
Yeah.
So I didn't really, like, hear anything about this other than, like, Christmas special. Like,
Okay.
so I was not prepped for it, and it was like...
You thought maybe the whole thing was
Yeah,
gonna be
I was like,
okay.
what is going on? Is this all animated? And then it stopped being, and I was like, oh, okay. This is more what I expected.
Yeah, I had watched the trailer, so I knew the whole thing wasn't going to be animated, but I honestly didn't know what it was going to be going into it. I thought maybe they were going to do all different things. Maybe one part would be claymation or something.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah. Kraglin says that, according to the multi-calendar, Christmas is coming, but Nebula says that they have too much on their plate after buying Nowhere from the Collector and needing to rebuild it following Thanos' attack. Meanwhile, Quill gets approached by BZ Murtakalak, and I had to write that down phonetically, kind of, to make sure I say it correctly, and I still stumbled over it, who is researching Christmas and wrote a song about it, but ends up completely mischaracterizing it to Quill's annoyance. And here we have the song, I don't know what Christmas is, but Christmas time is here. And I wrote that it is a silly opening credits song that I'm sure would tick people off if it was in regular MCU movie or show, but hopefully people let it slide because this is a holiday special and supposed to be a little corny. So I gave it a 6 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I love this song. Oh my god, I love this song. I listen to it all the time, like, unironically now. It's a great song. I'm sorry.
I have a further note saying that I doubt it'll make a radio station's Christmas rotation, but it's an original song, so it got points for that.
It better be on Christmas. They play all sorts of terrible Christmas music that, like, people that are, like, one-of-a-kind songs. This is Chef's Kiss perfect. Like...
Maybe.
Let's do it. It's a pretty good Christmas song.
Call up a radio station and tell them to play it. We'll see what happens.
I will do it.
Mantis tells Drax the Destroyer that she wants to do something for Quill for Christmas, due to her secret that she is Ego's child, and therefore Quill's sister. Which was kind of a big reveal that they just give away in this movie. Like, it's not from the comics, I don't know the Guardians of the Galaxy that well.
Yeah, I was like, surprise Pikachu face. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it was kind of a big reveal that she's Peter's sister, and it's interesting that they just did it, because I wonder if, like, that's going to be in the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
I think it's something they've alluded to, kind of, but, like, and that people suspected, but they never, like, outright said. So.
Yeah. But I'm just interested if someone doesn't watch this and then goes to see the next Guardians movie, we'll be like, wait, what? When did that happen? But it's like, dude, you got to watch the holiday special. But thinking about giving him an unforgettable Christmas present, Drax suggests that Quill's hero, Kevin Bacon, would be the perfect option. So they take Bowie and fly to Earth. Walking across Los Angeles, Mantis and Drax get mistaken for cosplayers and earn a lot of money from tourists who want to take pictures with them. So I have a couple notes here. First, I cracked up at Mantis jumping on the Captain America cosplayer and yelling Steve.
I just love that they're getting money too this whole time. I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous.
Furthermore, the GoBots exist in the MCU because one of them killed Drax's cousin, which is kind of like... So the GoBots and the Transformers were obviously rival companies. Mm-hmm. Like, you always have those two things competing against each other. Marvel owns the Transformers, and I think Disney recently acquired the GoBots. So now technically they're all part of the same continuity. But it was just like, oh, wow. Like, that was kind of a big thing to have in there, too. Apart from Mantis being Quill's sister, we also have GoBots in the MCU. And my third note was that I also cracked up at one of the tourists taking a picture with Drax and mistaking him for Kratos, the god of war. Like, it's just, oh, that's funny. Because he does kind of look like him. Looking for Bacon, Mantis and Drax go to a club, where they get wasted, before the bystander gives them a Star Tours booklet with Kevin Bacon's home address. They go to Bacon's house, which is also a funny scene, because she's like, oh, it's $40, and they don't have any more money, so she's just like, Mantis grabs her, and she's like, give me that. And but they go to Bacon's house and try to take him as a present, but Bacon says that he cannot help them. And I have a bit of trivia here. The movie that Kevin Bacon is watching at home is Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. I was wondering if it was a real movie, and I looked it up, and yes, it turns out it's a real movie. Good. Yeah. However, Mantis and Drax then break into his house. And so horrified, Bacon calls the police and tries to run away. The police arrive, but Mantis and Drax incapacitate the officers before catching up to Bacon. Mantis uses her powers to put Bacon in a trance and convince him to go with them. And I wrote that there's a lot of Christmas background songs in this film, but I cracked up at I Want an Alien for Christmas by Fountains of Wayne playing when Mantis and Drax are chasing Kevin Bacon. He technically is an alien to them.
It's just so funny, too. Also, I love their obsession with, like, the Christmas decorations, too, that they're, like, holding.
Yeah, Drax says, I want this little man. And,
it's like a little, like, blow-mo.
Yeah, yeah. Back at the Bowie, Mantis and Drax ask Bacon about his adventures that Quill was talking about. However, they realize that Bacon is not a hero, but just an actor. They are both disgusted, believing that actors are horrible people and thinking that Quill's perception of Bacon was warped. Mantis uses her powers to get Bacon to act as an actual hero, so Quill would not be disappointed. And I put a note here saying it's stupid, but this scene did make me laugh. In particular, Kevin Bacon's British accents and him pretending to be Batman.
I just like them all gagging, people like, he's an actor, like, ugh. And it's just funny because you're like, man, your actor's acting right now, man. The meta-ness of this is great.
Agreed. I feel it gave me very highly improvised scenes, like not necessarily scripted. But I did crack up at his British accent. Like, he just went into this British accent, and they're like, no, your actual voice. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm Batman. I mean, I'm Bruce Wayne. Like, I was like...
That's so good.
Like, he has to think of who a hero is, and he goes to Batman. With the help of the other inhabitants, the Guardians decorate Nowhere for a Christmas party, which amazes Quill, but he soon gets horrified when he finds out that his present is Bacon, kidnapped by Mantis and Drax. And I wrote, I normally can't stand Chris Pratt, but I actually think he was very good in this special, and in particular this scene. He was very believable at being shocked at the Christmas surprise his friend set up for him.
That's true.
Yeah.
Also, I think it's funny that, like, Groot ran by at the beginning, and he's just like, what is going on?
What do you think of Groot's design in this? He's very thick.
Yeah, he's very, like, thick. He's a bulky boy.
Yeah, yeah.
He's swole.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do. I guess he'll probably look that way in the next Guardians movie, too, but it's interesting how they keep it. Everyone's favorite Groot is Baby Groot, obviously, but...
Or Teenage Groot.
Teenage Groot is pretty sassy. He's great, too. But yeah, it's an interesting redesign for Groot, so... Anyway. Quill immediately tells Mantis to get Bacon out of the trance and promises to get him back home, although he still freaks out. Kraglin then brings Bacon to the ship to transport him to Earth and explain that Mantis and the others simply wanted to do something nice for their friend on Christmas, who was always fascinated by Bacon.
I have to tell you my favorite line is here when Quill's like, go get them, and Nebula's just like, you can't outrun me, Bacon!
Yeah, she pulls out her gun and chases after him.
You can't outrun me, Bacon! Yeah. Anyway, anytime I eat bacon now, that's what I'm telling the Bacon.
Yeah, and I wrote, that's great. I love that. But I wrote down that Kraglin says that Quill may be the greatest hero out there because he was inspired by Kevin Bacon. And thinking about it, I guess that's actually true for the MCU. I'd still say that Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Carol Danvers, Doctor Strange, and Thor outrank him as a hero of the MCU, but he's up there. He's in the top 10, if not the, top 7. Bacon then decides to stay at Nowhere for a while and performs a song with B-Zer Merk Takalak, and I screwed it up the second time, and I tried.
B-Zer Merk Takalak.
There we go. At the Christmas party, during which the Guardians exchange presents. And here we have the song Here It Is Christmastime, performed by Kevin Bacon and the Old 97s. And I wrote down, I'm not sure if this is an original song, but it's good and probably could and should be added to a radio station's Christmas playlist. And I looked into it and found out that it was an Old 97s song. And they just added Kevin Bacon singing to it. I also further wrote that I also forget that Kevin Bacon can actually sing until he does, and I give this song an 8.5 out of 10.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. It was a very good song. I still like the other one more, but I think I like it because it's more kitschy and stuff, but, okay. I like this too.
All right. And then I also have a note here saying Bacon's line about seeing you at Easter made me laugh, but that probably won't happen, in my opinion.
At some point down the line, Bacon's just going to show up in a MCU thing just because this line exists.
Maybe the next season of She-Hulk or something, he'll be on it.
Yeah, he'll just pop in.
Yeah. But Quill asks Mantis why she would go to such lengths to make him happy, and she tells him about Quinlan's story and how about Yondu ruined Christmas for him. Quill then tells Mantis the rest of the story. After calling off the party, Yondu found a toy troll Quill wanted to give him as a present. So Yondu gave him a present as well, his quad blasters. Mantis then tells Quill that she wanted to do something special for him and admits that she is actually his sister. Surprised, Quill tells Mantis that that is the best present he could think of, and the two embrace, wishing each other a Merry Christmas. And I just have a note here saying that I love how the closing credits were green and red in honor of Christmas colors. So there's also a post-credit scene. Did you happen to see it?
I did not see it, but I'm reading it.
Okay.
You know, I don't like watching the post-credit scenes a lot of the time, I'm not gonna lie, but here I will read. You can tell me what it was.
Well, in the post-credit scene, Rocket and Cosmo, the Guardians' newest member, decorate Groot like a Christmas tree. However, Groot gets tired and lowers his arms, dropping all the decorations. Cosmo says that Groot ruined Christmas, and Rocket remarks, and he looks right at the camera when he says this, now they need another special. We do. We need the
Easter Groot special? We need the Easter Rocket Cosmo Groot special.
If you think about it...
More Cosmo. Cosmo's amusing.
Groot's kind of like Jesus, because he sacrificed himself to save his friends, and now he came back, and, he was reborn and everything. It could work. It could work.
Where's the Hanukkah special?
Agreed. Well, that's the thing about, in my personal opinion, Christmas specials, holiday specials, I feel like they're for everyone. I feel like Christmas is a bigger holiday than just Christianity. Like, I feel like it's grown big.
What I will say about it, and, I generally agree with you, but I know a lot of, Jewish people and people of other faiths that celebrate other things do get a little offended that there's not more for them a lot of the time. And I agree with that as well. They should be allowed to have specials as well. The fact that, I do agree with you that, to me, Christmas is not very religious anymore anyway. I don't really associate it like that. It's just kind of its own non-religious holiday. I also think its backstory is in religion, which is unfortunate, but that also means all these other religions should get their due sometimes too for specials.
Oddly enough, one of the podcasts I listen to, the host of it is Israeli, and he was talking about the holidays that are celebrated over in Israel, and he said, surprisingly, this would shock most people, the second biggest holiday in Israel is Christmas, but it's celebrated as an American holiday. It's not celebrated as a Christian holiday, it's celebrated as an American holiday, which is what I feel like Christmas is. Not that I think it's an American holiday, but I think it's grown bigger.
It's a capitalist holiday, is what it is.
Yeah,
Let's be honest, guys.
Is. Yeah, but
I just spent $500 last weekend on Christmas gifts, so, capitalist holiday indeed.
Yeah. Well, let's go into our overall scores before I begin critiquing our system, because this will be a 5-hour podcast and that no one wants to listen to.
Maybe they will. What do you know?
Who knows? Would you like to go first? Or?
I will go first.
All right.
As you know, Werewolf by Night was not my favorite, but this was great. It exceeded all my expectations. I figured I was just going to be I like this because it's Christmassy, but, again, I'm not the biggest MCU person all the time, so I thought that was going to be my vibe going in, but no, this was, good. If I knew nothing about the MCU, I would appreciate this for what it is. I'd be wow, this is weird, but I like it because it's weird. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I wrote down, I was surprised at how much I actually enjoyed the special. The two Guardian movies weren't exactly my favorite MCU films, but for some reason, they work well here, for me at least. Sure, it's very cheesy, but most holiday-themed specials are. Also, it is far better than Werewolf by Night, in my opinion, and that's probably due to this being filmed alongside Guardians 3, so the sets, costumes, and budget were there, whereas Werewolf by Night was its own thing. A criticism I'll give is that you can't necessarily go in blind to this special. I feel like you've had to have seen at least the two Guardians movies to get the references in this, but maybe I'm wrong, and Ashley, you can tell me otherwise.
I just kind of said otherwise, didn't I? By saying that I think you could possibly watch this. I'm not sure you would like it necessarily, but I think you could, go in and be that was weird, but it was cute. It was weird.
Yeah. I just feel like the references to Ego and Thanos and everything, previous MCU films, I feel like someone might get lost at that, be wait, what? Who
I don't know, because I, overlook a lot of that. Maybe not so much the Ego, but, I never saw any of the, last couple of Avenger movies themselves, so, a lot of the Thanos stuff, I know of it, but it goes, don't really care.
Okay. I also wrote down, as previously stated, I'm not a Chris Pratt fan. Putting aside his real-world behaviors, which are frankly none of my business. I feel like he always plays the same Chris Pratt character in everything that he does.
That's accurate.
Yeah. Which would probably make him a good Indiana Jones, since Harrison Ford always plays the same character in everything that he does. But he was used well as a secondary character in this rather than the lead, so you get just enough Chris Pratt without too much.
That's a good point.
Yeah. All things considered, I'll give Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special an 8 out of 10. A good holiday special that I'll watch again for sure.
I've already watched it again, so...
And I know you've been recommending it to people.
I know, I have. It's good.
Right. I haven't really discussed it with any of my MCU friends yet. I'll have to get their opinions on it and see what they think
Watch
of
them
it.
hate it.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know. But all that being said, this has been the Once Again Podcast. Any questions, comments, or critiques can be addressed to our email at onceagainpod@gmail.com. Follow us on our social media accounts, Once Again Pod, all one word, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you would like to contribute to the podcast, we have several tiers available on patreon.com/onceagainpod. As always, a like, follow, or share would be greatly appreciated. Thank you and have a wonderful day. And remember, we will entertain you. We will always entertain you. Rumpelstiltskin always says that magic comes with a price. But for this price, you can get a nice piece of jewelry. Use code ONCEPOD for 10% off your first order at Unusual Magic Jewelry on Etsy. Click the link in the description.